We've got 3 tools here which you can use for measuring the thickness of the bow. Just simple cheap calipers, they're quite handy. Old-fashioned analog calipers, they do the job just as well, or fancy modern digital ones. They cost probably, I don't know, 30 quid. You can probably get them for a tenner. Probably pick them up at a boot fair for 50p. But you can use them, you can also use your fingers. This is the centre of the bow, and I'm trying to get an even thickness taper along it. Well, your eye can probably see where it's too fat and too thin. Simple pair of verniers, get it onto the bow, nip it up tight, then as you slide it along you should see the gap increasing evenly. Or not, as the case may be. Here you can see it's obviously thin there. Well, we can actually just check that. Close the jaws of the vernier, try and slide it along and it jams up. So it'll go on there, it won't go on there, won't go on there. So you can see I've actually got a thin spot there, which is why I've put le for leave where I've been rasping off on the belly. That's why you don't rasp a whole shed load off in one go, because you can make a mistake. Effectively I've made a mistake there, but because the draw length is still only 23 inches, I can still take more off, but I'll just leave that bit. How much do I rasp off? If I want to move the draw length of this on by another inch, I've got to do about this much rasping. Do that all the way along the limb and she'll come back another inch. While we're looking at tools, it's a nice rasp this, it's pretty coarse. I don't know if you can see the name there, it's a Barco, or, well, I don't know how you pronounce it. It's Swedish steel, they make good steel. I've also got another one of theirs. This is really, it's getting a bit worn now, you can see the tips of the teeth are getting a bit shiny. That's sort of medium coarse, not quite as coarse as that one. This really rips it off. And on the other side this is really fine. Now you'd look at that, you think, well, that's stupidly fine, that's never going to clean up what you've done with that, but it does, it works perfectly. You rasp it with that side, then that takes it off. Don't know if you can see that, that's taken out those rasp marks and made it shiny immediately. Similarly, a scraper will do the same thing. So right, I better carry on with the rest of the limb before I forget what I've rasped and what I haven't rasped. A bit of work reducing this limb tip. You can see it's almost taken away that funny area that I filled. Pretty much like I said, that will probably completely disappear by the time I finish the bow, but better safe than sorry. Again, that knot there, that will probably fall off the side of the bow. I'll put it on the belt sander, clean up the sides again. That doesn't take a lot of weight off, because reducing width, the stiffness is proportional to the width, but proportional to the cube of the thickness. So thickness is the thing that really makes the difference. Yeah, a little bit thick there, aren't we, still? Let's just give it a little nibble there. You don't have to be too shy with it, but you've still got to know when to quit. But you see that there was a knot there originally. There's virtually no knot left at all now, but we still follow the shape of the wood. Gives it some character. I mean, we're not trying to make a dead straight stick, we're trying to make a nice looking bow. Back on the tiller before I ruin it. Back on the tiller, you can see the brace height is pretty much where it needs to be now. Let's give it a pull and see what it's doing. There you go, 24. All of a sudden it's getting very close. So we're now looking at narrowing the tips, taking out little bits of knot, double checking everything, make sure there's no thin points are more important than thick points. Make sure there's no weak points where it's going to start taking a hinge or crizzling or doing anything nasty. Start taking out the rasp marks with the scraper or a file or the fine side of that rasp. Really maybe think about putting the horn nocks on now. I normally do that about 26 inches, but 24, very close now.